Do you know who Saint Luke is? Saint Luke is the writer of the Gospel and the book of Acts. He was a man filled with mercy and compassion. He was a physician, but discovered that the true healing isn't in medicine, but in Christ Himself, the great physician. St. Luke wasn't born Jewish. He was a Gentile from Antioch, originally a pagan. But when he heard about Jesus, the one who healed the sick with the words, he wanted to see the truth for himself. And when he met him, he couldn't help but believe. He believed, followed, and became one of the 70 disciples whom the Lord sent to preach his name. Luke was one of the 2 disciples on the road to Emmaus after the resurrection. He walked with the risen Lord, shared the bread with him, and in that moment his eyes were opened to recognize that the one beside him was Jesus himself. From that moment on, Luke was no longer just a physician of bodies. He became a physician of souls. And after Christ's ascension, Luke accompanied St. Paul, the apostle, in his missionary journeys, traveling with him by land and by sea, through prisons and hardships, through preaching and joy. And when everyone abandoned Paul in his trials, the apostle wrote the touching words in 2 Timothy, "Only Luke is with me." And that means that Luke wasn't just a disciple. He was a companion of the journey, a friend in suffering, and a healer in service. St. Luke wrote both the Gospel and the book of Acts, addressing them to a man named Theophilus, to show him that everything written about Jesus wasn't a myth, but a living truth. He witnessed himself. His gospel is a gospel of mercy, where we meet the Good Samaritan, the prodigal son, and the paralyzed man forgiven before healed. Stories that reveal the tender heart of a God whose arms are open to every repentant soul, all the times. Luke was also a skilled physician and talented artist. Tradition says that he was the first to paint an icon of the Virgin Mary holding the child Jesus. And that's why many ancient icons are attributed to him. And not surprisingly, since he's the one who saw grace, he captured it with his hands. And his earthly life ended with martyrdom. He boldly testified to Christ before Emperor Nero. They cut off the hand that wrote the gospel. But by the power of Christ, it was miraculously restored. He died at the age of 84, and after a life filled with service, faithfulness, and love.